This isn't just about the headscarf. This isn't just about women's right to veil or not wear a veil. This is broader than that. The issue is that women want freedoms that are not just restricted to the headscarf. They want freedoms to access education, freedoms to leave Iran without having to ask their husbands for permission to do so.
How strongly in the community are these desires for these freedoms held? Is it only within a certain age group? Is it only by women?
I'd say that it is the overwhelming majority of the community. The Iranian population is 75% of the Iranian population is under the age of 30. Women and children and political activists and students want the right to participate in free elections. They want the right to wear what they wish. They want the right to express themselves in a public forum without any fear of being reprimanded for their views and their beliefs. They want the freedoms to practice their religions. They want the freedom to be able to express themselves as religious and ethnic minorities. So it's not just about the headscarf. It's evolved into something much bigger. And there is growing discontent, and there has been growing discontent among the Iranian community, both inside Iran and outside Iran, since the 1979 revolution. And if the international community put pressure on the Iranian regime and the United Nations were to come in and run a democratic and open election, the world will know once and for all that the people of Iran do not accept the Iranian regime, and if they have a chance to actually vote, to actually choose who they want to represent them, be sure that it won't be the Iranian regime that they'll choose.
We are starting to see some international reaction, and of course the United Nations General Assembly is underway in New York right now. Do you believe the international community is providing anything more than moral support to those on the streets at the moment?
I think the moral support is very encouraging. I think there needs to be more done to support the people of Iran beyond that social media coverage. I think people need to go to their elected representatives and put pressure on their government. So, for instance, here in Australia, we need to ask the Australian government to take a strong stand. I heard that the Republicans and Democrats have banded together, and they've called on Treasury to arrange for satellites to go near Iran so that the people of Iran have access to the internet, because the Iranian regime doesn't want the outside world knowing that they're committing atrocities. I mean, we've been told that over 35 people have been brutally murdered who have their only crime is that they've participated in these protests, and they've been part of these uprisings in response to Mahsa's unjust death.
How much contact have you been able to have with friends and family inside Iran? And if you have managed to have some contact, what are they telling you about the sentiment on the streets and generally in the community about what's going on and for how long these protests will be able to go on?
We have family in Iran and we have friends in Iran, and I've had people contact me on Instagram and social media and thank me for bringing attention to this. But I think what they need is for the international community to take a stand and to stand up and spread their message. Their voice needs to be heard. It's a very important voice. If we don't hear their voice and we don't listen to their cry for help and we don't show that solidarity, these protests that have gained a lot of momentum will be quashed by the Iranian regime. So we really do need to band together. The media needs to really focus on this story and give it as much coverage as possible all over the world, because that's how we can initiate change. The people of Iran need to know that they're not alone, and that their stories are being told and their voices are being heard as they are taking to the streets and they are protesting against the regime and calling for regime change and calling for basic human rights that we enjoy here in Australia.
One final question on the media. What do you make of CNN journalist Christiane Amanpour's decision to call off an interview with the Iranian president after being told to wear a headscarf for that interview? Do you believe that she made the right decision, or should she have taken the opportunity to press him on the protests currently underway?
I think it's very courageous of her to decline to interview the figurehead of the Iranian regime moments after this brutal attack has taken place. I mean, he shouldn't be dictating to someone who lives in the West and telling her what she can and can't wear. So just imagine how the people of Iran feel being dictated to constantly. So thank you, Christiane Amanpour, for making that decision and for choosing not to interview someone whose hands are stained with the blood of the Iranian people.